I think one of the big challenges for Russia as a whole is the whole economy is built very much on natural resources, oil, coal, gas, etc. And when I look at places that I'm more familiar with, so for example Canada, very similar type of economy built on natural resources. So they're facing a huge challenge with that shift to say, well, what in a world that is moving towards no coal, no oil, use of renewable energy, more sustainable use of natural resource, it's a big challenge for the economy. How do we reskill people? How do we change things? And that whole nation is beginning to address that challenge. And what I'm interested actually in learning over the rest of today is how are businesses in Russia, are they even thinking about this? And likewise, you know, the government beginning to recognize these challenges as it thinks, how do we position ourselves to flourish in the future, and to make sure that the people are trained and able to maximize the opportunities and not just get left behind.
Okay, thank you. And how do you think, is it worth imposing any sanctions or restrictions against those companies who have joined the United Nations Global Compact, but despite that fact they do not fulfill their obligations?
So I think we have to recognize that all of this is a journey. You can't just change your business overnight. So for me, the critical point is recognizing which companies are genuinely and authentically on that journey. When it comes to sanctions and penalties, I prefer to believe that incentives are usually better than sanctions. So how do we encourage the companies to do more, remove barriers where there are barriers, encourage them to do more, reward them for doing well? And I think what you find across the distribution is that there are leading companies who will try their very best to do this because they believe it's the right thing to do. And you have a lot of companies in the middle who are not so sure. They're the ones we need to encourage. And ultimately there will always be some at the back who don't want to change and don't believe in all of this. And for me, that's where regulation and sanction needs to come in. So regulations need to get out of the way and enable companies to move in the right direction. But it's relatively rare where regulation and sanctions lead change. They usually push change from the back. So for me, that's where sort of sanction regulation should come in. It's about reduce that bad behavior and push everybody in this direction, but open the way to allow companies to innovate and change as they see best.
Is it possible to stick to these principles right from the start?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. So the FutureFit benchmark was designed to be usable by any company, anywhere in the world, in any sector.
Even a startup?
Even startups. Yeah. So we've used it with micro enterprises in Africa and India. We've tested the system and it works. The impact that you have is very different, but the principles remain the same. And what we would actually say for a startup is you're in the best position because you can build your business in this way from day one.
Yeah, so this is not rethinking, it's just to start thinking in the right way, right?
Correct. So if you set your business up and you said, right, we are going to treat our staff in the right way. We're going to build products and deliver services that respond in this way. We're going to treat society in the right way. We're going to set everything up and we're going to measure the right information from day one. You're already a long way on the journey. The challenge for a big multinational company is they're already doing things in the wrong way, so they have to change. And that's really hard because you've got systems and processes and incentives for people that are not compatible with a future fit society. So you have to change, and change is always really hard. Whereas if you start from that basis, it's easy, well, easier because that's the way you're doing it. So we would want absolutely every startup company to be saying these are the principles by which we're going to run the business and we're going to be a successful business.